destroyed.
To some degree. But then, at the same time, society has changed based upon even what Frederick is saying. Basically, we've been railroaded to some degree to being what we are, and as a result of, the things that we don't know about, our ignorance with some respect. And all of that being said, though, I think that still, this kind of dialogue, to me, raises such great value. I believe it raised such great value because when I look at the overall, everything has been said, including brothers who've been raised by their moms, brothers who've been raised by both parents, brothers who've been raised by their brothers, and so on and so forth. I look at the success rate. I look at overall, I consider number one.
Did you graduate from high school? Did you get on drugs? Did you have babies before marriage? This is what I consider. And overall, I'm considering that we want to consider the solution. We want the solution. We want to focus on the positive. But we do also have to recognize the hurt. Maybe that's in the room, and then we have some brothers who can polish. The word of the Lord says it this way: as iron sharpens iron, brothers or men sharpen the countenance of his brother. And I have to recognize, even not walking in the counsel of the ungodly, according to Psalms 1:1. I'm just looking at what's really going on, and that some of us are victims of circumstances.
Some of us, as a result of divorce, as a result of not having enough stamina in ourselves, because that's what Uncle Black is saying. We got to have enough. Go get them by yourself. Just have enough motivation to send yourself through college. Enough motivation and encourage to make your marriage work, and so on. And so I think all of this is relevant, but at the same time, I think it takes a village to raise a child. So I believe it really takes more than one brother, because truth be told, when my sons are not in my sight, somebody else in their ear. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? And then one more thing I want to say this, that a father is only a father based upon your perspective. So you can have a male figure in your house and he's not a father. You can still be a bastard with a biological daddy living with you because you have no respect for him as a dad. So basically he can't father you. He can't father you if you won't be fathered. It's like a teacher can't teach you if you won't be taught. So you're going to remain ignorant and you're going to remain fatherless if you don't allow or position yourself or allow him or her to do what they do. Respectful women. I think women do what they do. I can't take nothing from them because I was raised by my mother. I was raised by, and I take nothing from her. But I do also, now that I'm older, and I see the reality that I had to go through some psychological help to realize the pain that I buried. I have to realize, not necessarily from daddy, but from mom.
It wasn't even a daddy thing. The daddy was absent. As a result of daddy being absent, I leaned on mom. And mom perhaps didn't do or did do, then I ended up getting, so I got the short end of the stick. All right, but then I know this, and one thing God showed me, and this is where I think all of us brothers meet, is that when we get our families of our own, then it's time to turn our attention towards our children.
And stop putting so much attention and energy towards the past, right? And those who, would have been, could have been, should have been. Now we have to be, and leave a legacy and then leave an inheritance for our children, amen, to raise their children, raise our own grandchildren, and give them a positive role model. But I think it also affects us when we have our seniors in denial because they're still looking for a grandfather.
Our children are still looking for a grandparent. And I really believe that it's still, again, this is the area where I said that a woman can't fill that total void because it takes two, number one, to even make a baby.
So quite naturally, when you look up, you're looking for that male. How do you go to the bath? She can teach you how to use the bathroom, but she ain't gonna stand up and, you know what I'm saying. It's just a matter of physical appearance. And so with all respect, I believe that a woman does, but she has her limits to what she can. And I personally, this is just me with my children, because I have 3 boys and all 3 of them are here. 2 of them in college. And that's not to my credit, that's the credit of glory and honor to God. But I know that it wasn't because they could have chose to go down any road they wanted to go down. Some brothers who have both parents in the home, and we're not with this mom. I'm not with my children's mother. But, you know, they yet, I pray, they have the respect for me as dad, you know, obviously do, because I'm still checking them, and they 21 and 19. I'm still checking them, and they bigger than me. So that could be a tussle. But it's all respecting how they view me. And I think that it's very important for us to realize, you know, that it isn't a perspective. It's all about how you see your father. But it's very important for us to realize that even though a woman does what a woman does, I feel personally that she really can't fill the void of, and it's not because of my hurt, but it's because of the perspective that God gave me in this last thing. God gave me this, you know, that to turn their attention towards my children and to also realize that they're going to be, you know, fathers. And this is what happened with me. I had to apply not so much of a teaching of how to use the restroom, how to use tools and instruments. I had to apply more so character. I had to apply more so my heartfelt love
for them, because sometimes brothers get touched in the wrong way, or because they don't know what it feels like to be kissed by their dad, you know, and they get some unfamiliar kiss. And not everybody's this way. This is not, don't apply to every brother. Because, you know, you don't turn gay because you had that one-time experience. But some brothers have had some bad experiences because they didn't know how to respond when another man approached them inappropriately or didn't have that protection from a father. And some mothers would have to step up to the plate. I just know that there's a presence that any male figure, as any brother would bring when you walk in the room. You bring a presence with you. And it's just an automatic. You just stand up as a male figure. Women, on the other hand, don't always have that same effect without verbal. Just by physical appearance, brothers have that effect. Verbally, maybe they may come up and step up and, you know, check a brother. But on the average, when they walk in the room, brothers, you know, that physique and that physical thing, that testosterone, always have a tendency to pull.
And, you know, me, the way I view it, my mom did it, you know, and the respect that I have for her, it made me do a lot of good in my life. All I can do is base it off my reality. And my reality is my mom did it. You know, she influenced me to do what I do. Excuse me. When she passed away, you know, as much as I hated school, I went to college. I finished. But see, again, it all goes back to that self-motivation, because when I was in school, you know, I'm getting C's every day and things of that sort. I mean, that was all I could get was a C-point average, because I just wasn't trying to be there. And I'm going to give you something even heavier. The reason I win is because a good friend of mine told me the last time he was in, because I ended up going to a college in Alabama, all black college. And that was the reason I went to college. I'm like, well, let's go. You know? But my buddy told me, because his folks was out there, he said, man, the last time I was in Alabama, all I had to do was tell them I was from Vegas, and them women was just dropping their drawers. And that was the reason I went to college. I'm like, well, let's go. You know, that was my reason. Because, you know, I ended up, you know, getting an experience outside of Vegas that taught me a lot slower, you know, and things of that sort. But again, my motivation, because my mom passed just before I went. She passed, and when she passed, she told me to go. I actually went a semester and quit. She told me to go back before she passed. So again, the motivation was always instilled in there. You get what I'm saying? And then you know, she was my #1 fan when it came to the music. So as a result, you know, I don't want to, you know, get up here bragging and boasting, but you know, I didn't did that. You know, so again, it's based and still to this day. And now that my uncle just passed, same thing. Those two were my #1 fans. So a lot of the moves that I make, of course, will be for my family first. But you know, it's gonna ring in my head everything that they instilled in me. And of course, it always started from my mom first. So again, you guys are making some great points, really relevant points, but all I can do is base it on my reality, and my mom was both. That's it. It's funny because my pops ended up coming back, and he actually taught me how to use the restroom, which was funny. He came right on time, for that. But he didn't teach me how to shave. I learned that just from doing it. Or, he didn't teach me how, he didn't teach me how to, I still don't know how to tie a bow tie, and matter of fact, my wife been all on the internet trying to teach me. I just don't want to learn, I keep them tied, so that way I don't have to, do all that. But my point is, there
We thought you had to change your flat tire.
YouTube? I'm playing. I don't even know. But all in all, my point that I'm trying to make is, give my wife credit. She teach me how to tie a tie. So that's a woman, again, that's giving me something. But, I know I'm a man. And again, I have that fatherly presence amongst my daughter, who is 2. And going back to what my man said, my daughter is right there if I'm trying to build something. She's trying to learn from me. So, but she had my wife, to learn other stuff. So my point is, it's beautiful to have, now that I'm in that situation, to have both. But at the same time, you can succeed because I feel like I'm a success story, without, so that's my point. We have to be self-motivators, and as far as what Black, his question, fear of life, my life, not at all, because I'm just doing, I'm not super religious, so I don't want to die yet, so I guess that would be a fear. I'm doing what I teach myself to do every day, because again, I don't have no one to hold my hand. But self-motivation, something inside me tells me every day, and I'm pretty sure it's God telling me every day, this is how you should do it, or try it, and that's what I do. So, anyway.
Right. Story back.